Okay, so the whole army in general. Um, what you're gonna want to do is the second turn is really when we start to see the army come together. The first turn, you're gonna have the awkward drop pod that comes down. He's gonna be like, yeah, he's a little early to the party. Um, but with him, what you want to do is you want to try to focus directing your opponent um, into awkward situations because the core of your army is the most important part. All right, the outflankers they're great, but the core of this army is what really is going to get it where it's going. It's gonna win us the battles. The psyker with when the psyker can use the right buffs and debuffs, then that's when we start to see large swaths of the enemy fade away. And the outflankers, if you can push your opponent and distract the things that can kill your core, if you push your opponent around to do things. So let's give an example. Let's say that our opponent has Space Marines with guard allies, and he's got Demolisher Cannon, um, Leman Russ, the Demolisher, and then he's got a Vindicator, and then he's got just interspersed units of Imperial Guard and Space Marines. Nothing crazy. And so if he castles, like he deploys in the corner, then he should put the Demolisher cannons towards the middle, and then have a guard Space Marine corps in the corner, and then put like maybe a unit on the other side of the table there to capture objectives. Um, by itself alone. Because there's always gonna be that one guy who puts an objective in fucking nowhere, and you always end up with like each army has like one unit trying to get. That's what we end up doing anyway. But so then what you see from my army is we deploy. The biggest threat on this table is definitely those demolishers, because the demolishers, what they'll do is they pierce the armor of everybody, and they're strength 10, so the Thunderwolves just evaporate. Any Thunderwolf that lands under that template, or that template lands over, is gone. Um, so we're looking at something that's really scary. Um, what we want to do is stay 31 inches away from those Demolisher cannons at all times, forever and always. By doing that, we're staying out of range of that thing, and we're being okay. We want to do that with our core. So by being 31 inches away, he can't move forward the 6 and then fire the 24. So 31 inches is the golden number. Be patient with the core. Okay, you keep your core out of the range of those demolishers, and then you skirt it around so they're like moving around the flank towards the table edge where he's got like that one unit. We're not focusing on them. We're just moving around because that's where the bubbles allow us to move. And then keeping a formation where the Blood Claws give a cover save to the Razorback. The Razorback is crucial to not die here. Um, so obviously you're going to be taking last cannon shots. You're going to be taking little things like that. But hopefully you'll your Blood Claws will take the brunt of it. They won't evaporate completely because the only thing that should be in range at this point, because you're staying 31 inches away, are like the heavy stuff. And the heavy stuff, whilst good, is not designed to like decimate large infantry units. So they should be all right. And also, what I'd like to see is him fire the last cannons at the Razorback, and then the Razorback make its cover saves, and then all of a sudden it's wasted. So yeah, and or last cannon shot at the Thunderwolf cavalry, where the Thunderwolf cavalry also get a cover save from forward units, and then even if you get a hit, then it's one wound left. They still have a wound, so good stuff. The deep strikers that come in turn one, the deep striker that comes in turn one, the 10-man squad with Combi Melta Melta in the drop pod. You want to try to find a pocket where they can kill one of those demolishers. Now, if that doesn't exist, then feel free to drop them in range of one of the demolishers for the next turn, so that if examine it beforehand and look if as you're moving the rest of your army, because obviously you're going to deep strike before you move. If you can't find a good pocket, consider deep striking them in range of one of the demolishers, so that demolisher is going to shoot at them, and then the rest of your army can move forward with relative relatively little fear, um, because you know the Demolisher is going to shoot at the other guys, and they're not going to shoot your core. So you can move forward. Those guys are going to get shot. Hopefully they'll be in cover. You know, just predict that if you can. Like, look, examine it, and look for it. So you either want to kill the tank, okay, you want to deep strike, shoot it, or you want to be in a position where that unit is suddenly the enemy's focus, so the rest of your army can move forward and into that bubble that we're trying to avoid. And so pick one of those two options, and if you know you pick the second one, try to keep them in cover, try to keep them alive, because you know don't worry about damage with that unit. You either want to worry about damage only, or worry about tanking. You know, like taking damage. So focus on one or the other. Don't try to do everything because they're just Space Marines. Then the second turn, that's where we really get our oomph. That's when the Wolf Guard comes in from the side, and that's when the scouts come in from the back, and all that jazz. So hopefully at this point the scouts will come in from the back, and they've got about a 50-50 chance of killing one of those vehicles, one of the demolishers that we're really worried about. And then the Wolf Guard that comes in on the side, they're able to shoot. So at this point we're definitely breaking the enemy's bubble there, where that we were trying to avoid, the 31-inch bubble. We're definitely in there. We're definitely doing that by turn 2. So that's when you really want to just speed boost forward with your core, move into that bubble, just like all of a sudden everybody's in there trying to get some. And you know, it's about timing. You know, you want to make it so your opponent is in a position where he has no targets to shoot at, and then all of a sudden he's flooded with targets. You want it so your whole army is at once engaging from a bunch of different angles in a perfect world. Now the danger of this is being spread too thin. If you know you deep strike in with those guys and you bunched them up like you know the first guys who came in, you know you didn't really think about it. You know you tried to kill the tank and you fail, and then all of a sudden he just lobs that one shot and that whole squad's gone, and he even clipped the drop pod and blew that up. So just everything's gone in one shot. That can happen. And then you know you move up with everybody, you know, anticipating them to have survived a little bit better, and then you know it just demolishes those guys, and then you fizzle out because you just don't have a cohesive thing anymore. You know, you're just gone. So that's what you want to avoid. You want to avoid being spread too thin, and you want to ultimately take advantage of the Space Wolves' hardiness, because point for point, a Space Wolf army is more durable than almost any other army. And I say that because Space Wolves can take things like storm shields, like super crazy everywhere, and then they've got counterattack. They've got all these things. You know, they're toughness 5 with the Thunderwolf cavalry, things like that. They're just a hardy army. That's the theme of the army, is that they're hardy warriors who come from like this death world, and that's that. That's their whole point. And by coming in this way, by directly forcing your opponent to engage you directly all at once, you're taking advantage of the hardiness of your codex. And I think you guys get the point by now. But that's my 1,500 point Space Wolf Wolfpack tactic list. Hopefully I will get a battle report with that up. I finally got them all painted. I don't like to show my models too much in my videos, not because I don't like showing you guys models, but because like at the end of the day my armies are not fully painted, and I'm embarrassed at how not fully painted they are. So I just buckled down for the last like week and a half, and got this new army out and fully painted them and all that jazz. So yeah, hopefully you guys got at least some ideas out of it, a new way to run your Space Wolves, a new way to think strategically as far as so you know that whole Wolfpack idea of all of a sudden you're surrounded and just flooded with guys. I love that. My Space Wolves previously didn't have anything like that. If I were to expand this list into the 2,000 point range, I would do one of two things. I would either add durability to my core with Terminators or a Land Raider. By doing that, suddenly the core is able to tank even more shots, and they can push into no man's land a little bit more fearlessly. Or I would boost the durability of my core with the cheap unit of Fenrisian Wolves to have them screened in front, and then have another Wolfpack or Wolf Scout unit, outflank, and then maybe add on to the Wolf Guard, add some guys with Terminator armor to the Wolf Guard so that they can sit in front. So I would either add durability to my core with a Land Raider or Terminators to help them march forward, or cheaply expand every little bit of it. Both are good options, I think. They're, the weakness of the Land Raider edition would be if you're fighting a more elite enemy army, that's going to struggle a little bit more. And where if you're fighting a bit more of a standard 6th edition army, I think that the list where we added cheaply to everybody might suffer a little bit heavier. Anyway, this has been an over 10-minute video now, so I'm going to stop talking. Thanks for watching. You guys are great.